There are moments in life when one simple object can shatter everything we thought we knew. A dusty attic, a forgotten box, and a single photograph that shouldn't exist. What if the family you've always known wasn't the full story? What if the man smiling in the photo was someone you were never supposed to see? This is not just a story about secrets. It's about betrayal, disappearance, and a truth buried so deep someone was willing to kill to keep it hidden. Stay with us, because once the story begins, you won't be able to look away. It started on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, the kind where the skies feel too heavy, like they're trying to bury something. That was the kind of day Emma chose to clean out her late mother's attic. Not out of inspiration, but obligation. The house had been quiet since the funeral, but that day it felt like the silence was watching her. She was alone. The air was stale. Dust danced in the narrow beam of light leaking through a cracked window. Each step on the attic floor groaned beneath her as if the house itself didn't want her there. And yet she stayed, lifting old boxes, reading faded labels, brushing cobwebs off forgotten trunks. That's when she found it. Tucked in the back corner of the attic, beneath a broken crib and a trunk of baby clothes, sat a wooden chest sealed with a rusted latch. Her heart fluttered irrationally. She hadn't seen this before, not even during the dozen times she'd helped her mother sort through family heirlooms. The chest creaked open with resistance. Inside were photographs, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, bundled with worn-out string, yellowed and curled at the edges. Emma smiled faintly. She'd always loved family photos. There was something comforting about seeing faces frozen in time. But it was the last photo she pulled out, the one without a date, without a label, that made her blood turn to ice. It was a family portrait clearly taken in the 1980s based on the clothing and hair. Her parents stood in the center, younger, glowing. Her brother, 10 at the time, sat cross-legged at their feet. And beside him, holding a baby girl wrapped in pink, was someone Emma had never seen before. A man. Not her father. Not anyone from her family. A stranger. Standing so close, so intimate, as if he belonged. Emma blinked. Rubbed her eyes. Held the photo up to the light. No mistake. There he was again, this man, his hand resting gently on her mother's shoulder, his eyes piercing the camera as though daring anyone to question his place. And then it hit her. The baby in the photo, the one in pink, that wasn't her. Because Emma hadn't been born yet when this was supposedly taken. This photo shouldn't exist. Her breath quickened. Her fingers trembled. She turned the photo over. Nothing. No date, no names, no scribbled messages like the others. Just blank space. It felt deliberate. Panic and curiosity wrestled inside her. She grabbed the entire bundle and ran downstairs, ignoring the dust cloud that followed her. She scanned every photo in the bundle. All seemed normal. Her parents on vacations. Her childhood birthdays. Her mother laughing in the garden. But sprinkled throughout only in a few of them was him. That same man. Sometimes blurry in the background. Sometimes standing a little too close to her mother. Never smiling. Always watching. Emma had never seen him before. Not once. And now she couldn't unsee him. She called her brother first. He brushed it off. Maybe a family friend? I dunno, Mom had a lot of weird friends back then. But something in his voice told her he hadn't looked closely. Or maybe he had and didn't want to remember. She waited until the evening to bring it up with her aunt, her mom's younger sister, Lily. They hadn't spoken much since the funeral, but Emma felt desperate. "Lily," she said, her voice low. "Do you remember this man?" There was a pause. Long quiet. When Lily finally spoke, her voice cracked. "Where did you find that photo?" "In the attic," Emma whispered. "Who is he?" Another pause. Longer this time. "You shouldn't have found that." The line went dead. Emma sat frozen. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. It wasn't just a forgotten photo. It wasn't just a family friend. It was something else. Something buried. Hidden. And suddenly Emma didn't feel alone in the house anymore. She felt watched. That night Emma barely slept. Every creak of the house sounded louder. Every shadow on the wall stretched too long. The photo sat on her nightstand, face down, as if even it couldn't bear to see her anymore. She thought about throwing it away, even burning it, but something inside her whispered, "Don't. You need to know." By morning, the whisper had become a roar. She couldn't ignore it. She pulled out the photo again, stared at the man. His face wasn't exactly haunting. At first glance, it was forgettable. But the more she looked, the more she noticed things that didn't belong. The way he stood too straight, too proud, like he was posing for something more than a family photo. His eyes too aware, too knowing, like he saw the camera, but more than that, like he saw her across time. She couldn't shake the feeling that this man wasn't just in the photo. He was part of something bigger, something that involved her. She didn't go to work that day, didn't eat. She dug through the attic again, this time like a woman possessed. She tore open boxes, flipped through albums, until her fingers were raw and her clothes covered in dust. She needed to find another clue, anything. And then she did. At the bottom of a tin marked July 1986 Private, hidden beneath a stack of old greeting cards, was a letter, folded neatly, yellowed with age, addressed to ML in her mother's handwriting. Emma didn't recognize the initials. Her hands trembled as she opened it. I told you not to come again. This has to end. My husband is getting suspicious. The children are old enough to notice. I can't protect you anymore, not like before. What we did, it was wrong. I know that now. I don't want to see your face again. Please, stay away. For everyone's sake. No signature. No date. Just pain. Emma sat on the floor, her pulse hammering in her ears. Her mother had been hiding something. Hiding him. And the line, "The children are old enough to notice," sent a chill down her spine. Because in 1986, her brother would have been 10. She would have been unborn. Or maybe already growing inside her mother. She thought of the photo, the baby in pink, the man standing beside her mother. Could he? No, it couldn't be. But what if it was? What if that man wasn't a stranger? What if he was her father? The thought felt absurd. Her dad had raised her, loved her. He was gone now, died 2 years ago of heart failure, but he had never made her feel unloved. Still, as she thought about it, something inside her shifted. Something cracked open. Memories came flooding in. Her father's tense voice whenever her mother mentioned the past. The fights they thought she didn't hear. The way he never looked at the old photo albums. How he avoided that attic like it was cursed. Had he known? Had he suspected all along? Emma called her aunt again. This time Lily didn't pick up. So Emma drove. Lily lived an hour away, in a small cottage on the edge of the woods. Emma had only been there once as a child, but she remembered the winding road, the squeaky porch swing, the smell of roses that grew wild along the fence. When Lily opened the door and saw Emma's face, she didn't say a word, just stepped aside and let her in. Emma dropped the photo and letter onto the kitchen table. I want the truth, she said, her voice shaking. No more lies. Who is he? Lily stared at the photo, her lips pressed into a tight line. Then, without looking up, she whispered, his name was Marcus. Emma blinked. Was? He died. A long time ago. Before you were born. Emma's stomach turned. Who was he to Mom? Lily finally looked up. Her eyes were red. He was her first love. The kind that burns everything it touches. Emma felt like she was falling. And me? Lily hesitated. She never told me for sure. But I always wondered. You looked nothing like your dad. Not really. And there were rumors. Things people whispered at family gatherings. Emma's mouth was dry. Why didn't anyone say anything? Because your mom begged us not to. She wanted a normal life. Wanted to protect you. And your dad, your real dad, he forgave her. Chose to raise you like his own. Emma's knees buckled. She sank into the nearest chair. Everything she knew about herself was unraveling. And yet there was more. What happened to Marcus? She asked. Lily paused. That's the thing. No one knows. One day he just vanished. No goodbye. No funeral. Just gone. Emma stared at her. What if he didn't vanish? She whispered. What if he was watching us? All this time? Lily paled. Why would you say that? Because, Emma said slowly, I've seen him. In other photos, hiding in the background, watching, Lily stood backing away. That's not possible. He's dead. Are you sure? Silence. Emma left soon after. Drove home with her hands shaking. She locked the photo and letter in a drawer. Tried to sleep. Tried to convince herself this was grief, paranoia, trauma. But at 3:13 a.m., her phone buzzed. An unknown number. No name. She hesitated, then answered. Silence. Hello? She whispered. More silence. Then a breath. Slow. Shaky. Male. Emma, the voice said. She froze. I never meant to scare you. Click. The line went dead. Emma didn't sleep that night. Her body lay still under the sheets, but her mind spun in endless circles. The voice echoed in her ears. Emma, I never meant to scare you. It was a voice she didn't recognize, yet something about it made her skin crawl. There was familiarity buried in it, like hearing a melody from a dream long forgotten. She played the message back over and over, trying to catch a background sound, a clue, anything, but it had already been deleted. No trace, no call log, like it had never happened, except Emma knew it had. By morning, the world outside seemed eerily normal. Birds chirped, the mailman waved as usual, and the neighbor's dog barked at passing cars. But inside Emma's world, nothing made sense anymore. She sat at the kitchen table staring at her mother's letter, the photo beside it, and the memories she now questioned. Was her childhood real, or had it been a carefully crafted illusion? Had everyone played along while she lived a lie? She thought of her father again, the man who raised her. He was warm, patient, always humming while he cooked, always telling her bedtime stories about invisible foxes and flying boats. He was the kind of man who kissed her forehead even during arguments. And yet, was he hiding this truth all along? Did he die with this secret buried in his heart? She called Lily again. Voicemail. No response. And then, at 10:44 a.m., a message arrived. Not a call this time, but an envelope. No return address. No name. Just her first name written in black ink. Emma. She opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a single Polaroid. Faded. Old. It showed a woman, her mother but younger, smiling, standing beside Marcus. They looked happy. Too happy. It was the kind of smile Emma had never seen on her mother's face. But it wasn't the photo that broke her. It was what was scrawled on the back. You always wondered why you loved the ocean. You got that from me. Her breath caught. She had loved the ocean since she was a child. None of her family did. Her father hated sand. Her brother was afraid of deep water. But she could sit at the shoreline for hours, just staring at the waves. How could this stranger have known that? She stared at the writing. It was elegant, precise, and hauntingly familiar. And for the first time, she allowed herself to feel it. Not the fear, not the denial, but the connection. Somewhere, deep in her blood, she had always known. He was part of her. But the questions were still louder than the answers. Where had he gone? Why now? Why come back? Emma took the Polaroid to a photo restoration shop downtown. The owner, a wiry man with thick glasses, ran the image through software, enhancing the background. He pointed to a sign, a motel logo in the distance. Faded, but readable. Seabird Inn. Emma's heart skipped. She knew that place. Barely. Her family had gone there once. Just once. She was 5. She remembered eating ice cream on the steps, watching seagulls dive for fries. She remembered a man sitting on a bench, watching her from afar. At the time, she thought he was just another tourist. She remembered something else too. Her mother snapping at her father that night. A rare explosion of rage. Her father packing the car early. Them leaving before sunrise. She never questioned it. Until now. Emma drove to the Seabird in that afternoon. It was still standing barely. The paint peeled, the sign buzzed, and the air smelled of salt and mold. The woman at the desk was elderly, with cloudy eyes and a suspicious glare. "I'm looking for someone," Emma said. "He might have stayed here. A man named Marcus." The woman stared. Emma added, "This would have been years ago, maybe recently again. He'd be in his late 50s now. Tall, dark hair." "Room 9, the woman said abruptly. Emma blinked. "Excuse me?" "He's been in and out. Doesn't talk much. Pays cash. Always asks for room 9. Came by last week. Said he was waiting for someone." Emma's mouth dried. "Did he leave anything?" The woman shrugged. "Room's clean. You can check if you want." Emma stepped into room 9. It was nothing. A bed. A nightstand. A mirror with a crack running through it like a scar. But something about the air felt heavy, like someone had just been there. On the desk sat a single object, a seashell, perfectly clean, perfectly white, and beneath it, a note. "Sometimes you have to disappear to protect the ones you love." Her knees buckled. She sat on the edge of the bed, heart pounding. He had been here, waiting, watching. But why protect her now? The phone rang. The motel phone. Emma stared at it. It rang again. Slowly, she picked it up. "Emma," the voice said again, calm, measured. "I knew you'd come." Her lips trembled. "Are you Marcus?" Silence. Then, "I am your father." She didn't speak. "Your mother tried to protect you from me, not because I was dangerous, but because she was afraid of what I knew, of what others wanted to hide. I wasn't the only secret in that house." Emma gripped the receiver. "What do you mean?" "There's more, Emma. Look closer." The photo wasn't the first clue. It was the last. "Go back to where it all began." The line went dead. Emma didn't leave room 9 for hours. She sat in silence, staring at the seashell and the note, feeling like she was caught between two worlds, one she had always known and one that had been quietly watching her from behind closed doors. The revelation that Marcus was her father had cracked open the foundation of her life, but it was that final sentence, "Go back to where it all began," that echoed in her mind like a ghost refusing to be exorcised. Where had it begun? Not with the photo. Not even with the letter. The beginning was something older. Something deeper. Something hidden. She drove back to her childhood home under a darkening sky, the clouds bruised purple and gray. Rain threatened again, but held off like the world itself was holding its breath. As she unlocked the front door and stepped inside, the silence swallowed her whole. She moved slowly, deliberately, as if the house could feel her intent. Her steps led her, not to the attic this time, but to the basement, a place she hadn't visited in years. The door creaked open. A damp chill spilled out. She descended the wooden stairs one by one, each groaning beneath her like a tired warning. The basement was cluttered with old furniture, broken appliances, forgotten boxes, but her eyes were drawn to a section of the floor. The boards there were different, newer, cleaner, but misaligned. And in that instant, she remembered. She was 7, playing hide-and-seek with her brother. She'd lifted one of the floorboards and slipped inside the space below. Her mother had screamed when she found her there. Screamed like she'd seen a ghost. She hadn't thought much of it back then. But now she knelt down, pried the board loose. Beneath it was a box. Not just any box. A metal one. Sealed shut. Cold to the touch. She hesitated, then opened it. Inside were documents. Dozens. Old, yellowing. Passports. Birth certificates. Journal entries. Newspaper clippings. Photos. Letters. All leading to one horrifying conclusion. Her mother hadn't just loved Marcus. She had been married to him. Before her father. Before everything. And then he had disappeared. Not because he wanted to protect her. Not because he ran. But because he was taken. The journal entries written in her mother's hand told the story. Marcus found something. Something about the family. About mine. About what they did during the war. He said it could destroy everything. My father threatened him. He wouldn't let the past come out. Then Marcus vanished. Everyone said he left. But I know. He was silenced. I know what they did. Emma couldn't breathe. This wasn't just about love or betrayal. This was about cover-up. Her family had secrets, real ones. The kind people killed to keep buried. The newspaper clipping was from 1986. A body found near the cliffs. Unidentified male. Cause of death inconclusive. Her mother had circled it in red ink. And beside it, a photo of Marcus's face scratched out. Emma dropped the paper. Her hands shook uncontrollably. She'd been raised in a house built on lies. Her grandfather, whom she'd barely remembered, had been involved in wartime crimes covered up by wealth and silence. Marcus had uncovered them. He tried to expose it. And he paid the price. Or, so they thought. Because somehow he had survived. Disappeared. Rebuilt a life in shadows. And waited. Waited until Emma was old enough. Until she began asking questions. That phone call, it wasn't just to reveal the truth. It was a warning. She closed the box and took it with her. She didn't call the police. She couldn't. Not yet. Instead, she returned to the attic one last time. There, in the corner, was another envelope. New. Clean. As if it had just been placed there. Inside, one final photo. Emma. As a child. Sitting on a beach. Smiling. And behind her, barely visible in the shade of a tree. Marcus. Watching. Protecting. On the back, just 4 words. I never stopped watching. She sank to the floor, tears pouring down her face. Not out of fear, but because, for the first time, she saw the truth. He hadn't left her. He had always been there. Sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. What started with a photo became a door to a hidden life, a life Emma was never meant to uncover. But the truth has a way of finding its way home. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think twice about what's hidden in your own attic, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that blur the line between memory and mystery.